Live from the Export Beer Garden studio and brought to you as always by Export Ultra, the beer for the new year. This is the Agenda podcast for the 15th of January 2025.
Is this the first one of the year?
Yeah.
First one. Hi.
The Agenda podcast, the home of sporting nonsense and claptrap. Brought to you by Export Ultra.
And a very big season's greetings to Matt Heath.
Yeah, and a big season's greeting to Manaia Stewart.
And to you, the listeners.
Just to differentiate you from all the other Manaias.
Yeah, we're just talking about this off here, how every time people introduce me at Hauraki or on the ACC, it's Manaia Stewart.
Yeah. But that, as we said, it's just there's so many Mikes and Matts in the world that Matts, like me, have to have a second name.
Every Matt I know is Matt someone.
Matt Ward.
Matt Crouch. Matt Ward. Yeah, exactly. You have to be, because there are a lot of Matts. Strong biblical name.
Yeah.
A lot of Mikes. Even a couple of Lees.
Yeah, Lees. There's a few Lees out there. Different spellings.
Yeah. But Manaia Stewart's just a bit too long, I reckon, to be saying every single time.
I tuned into the ACC, actually, to listen to a Lee and then almost immediately heard my name.
Oh, yes.
Talking about divorced dad rock. I was like, oh, it's straight in there.
I got a couple of things to say about
So I immediately started punishing Lee Baker with text.
Yeah.
Because I know he like Lee Baker, great man, great broadcaster. I love him on the ACC. But he's sort of a Renaissance man.
Yeah.
So he's more likely to be at the Auckland Philharmonic Orchestra than he is to be at a Creed reunion concert.
Yeah, absolutely. He was a little bit out of his depth, I felt. But yeah, the divorced dads thing just went crazy over the break. We're going to talk about the sport, I reckon, after the ad about what sports we watched over the summer. But you mentioned you were listening to the ACC. What else did you get up to over your summer break?
Bit of time in Taupō. Went to the Taupō races. That was pretty good. Boy, did I get steamed at the Taupō races.
Sunny?
It was raining and then sunny, then raining. It was actually my holidays in Taupō this year were pretty poor weather, actually, to be honest.
Yeah.
Pretty poor weather. Didn't get out on the boat much. But it was still great.
Yeah.
Still great. But yeah, and the Taupō races was the day before New Year's Eve. So I went too hard.
First night fever.
And I was in a bad state. I was in a bad state for New Year's Eve.
Yeah.
And ended up not making it to midnight.
Was there some sort of fireworks display on the lake? Or?
No, there wasn't, because it was too windy. And they had the fireworks all lined up to go off on the barge. As soon as they got that information, it was actually the first New Year's Eve I haven't stayed up to midnight since I was like 5 or something.
Yeah, I was the same. I didn't stay up till midnight. My missus had work the next day.
Yeah.
So I was like, we'll go out to the beach and blah, blah, blah. And then we didn't do any of that stuff. And then by about 9 o'clock, she's like, I got work tomorrow, I'm going to bed.
Yeah.
And I sat on the couch for an hour and then I was like, I'm going to bed too.
Me and Trace got up first thing on New Year's Day and climbed Mount Tauhara. And that's just down in Taupō, looked out of the lake. And we fired out a lot of Carpe Diem loser type stuff. It was just a great opportunity because of what pieces of shit we'd been the day before. We ended up just accidentally being amazing. And so we were the Carpe Diem losers.
Carpe Diem.
Yeah, Carpe Diem up the top of firing off so many messages. It was really important. I actually wrote an article on this on my Substack, mattheath.substack.com, if you want to follow, about how you're doing something worthy is like that. Just to be better than other people is worse than being the piece of shit that's hung over in bed.
Yeah.
If you're wanting to get up and climb a mountain just so the first thing that your mates see when they wake up with a massive hangover full of regrets on the Jan 1, 2025 is you up a mountain going Carpe Diem.
Yeah.
Then you're the villain. You're not the good guy.
You are, but also look, if that makes you feel better, then go for it, because it does. You're like, it's like there's a thing going around social media. It was about being the first person in a group chat to say happy birthday to someone, and then watching all the filthy little peasants send their message in afterwards. Like, you guys all forgot.
See, I've got ahead of this. There's one of my mates. I always do this too, and I set my calendar invite a day earlier. I always go, I'm the first to say happy birthday to you, Spooge.
So
there you go.
Apparently you can schedule texts on iPhones.
Oh,
so you could sit down this
automated
week and automate all of the birthday messages for midnight, 12:01 on all of your friends' birthdays.
Shit, that's good.
And never have to think about it again. The first you hear about your mate's birthday will be them replying to your happy birthday message. You're like, oh shit, that's right. It's Spooge's birthday.
Freaking brilliant.
It is, eh?
That is brilliant.
I saw that and thought, I need to do that. And then my second thought was, I'll never fucking do that.
So you need to, if you know your anniversary, you need to fire that up for the next 15 years.
Yes. Have a repeating one. It just goes off every single time. And set yourself a reminder the day before.
Yeah. But just as a backstop. So even if you forget completely, then there's going to be that message out there.
Which would be weird if you're sitting next to your partner and she gets a message and it's like, hey babe, love you so much, happy anniversary. And you're just sitting right next to each other. She's like, what?
What? And then grabs your phone. You've scheduled 15 years of this, you piece of shit.
What, are we going to break up after 15 years? Is that what you're trying to say?
It's actually quite beautiful if you think that you're going to be together for 15 years.
Yeah, that's right.
Good luck.
Or hopelessly optimistic. Yeah.
As a fan of divorced dad rock. You know?
that went crazy. I went down to Timaru for a week. I threw my phone into the ocean over the break.
On purpose?
Yep. I was just like, fuck this thing, get it out of my life. I didn't take any photos, didn't message anyone.
You literally did, or metaphorically?
Metaphorically, I did. It would have been an insurance issue, but metaphorically, I basically turned it off, and then it was great. It's just being wherever you are and not having to worry. Because you're on holiday, and then you're like scrolling through Instagram, and you're like, oh shit, did you see Mel Gibson's house burnt down? I was like, why do I need to know that?
Or you see someone having a better holiday than you.
Yep, that one.
And that's what Instagram is over the break. It's like, oh, well, they seem to have fucking flash holiday on the cards.
That's right. And so you're having your holiday.
You're in Timaru.
You're at Caroline Bay. And you're sitting at Caroline Bay and you're like, this is mean. And then you see someone and they're like in Bali. And you're like, ugh.
You got G-Lane in Japan.
Yeah. And it's like,
I'm sure Jeremy's in Morocco or somewhere. I don't know where he is.
I know. And it's like, so then all of a sudden you went from having a mean time.
Yeah. Comparison is the thief of joy.
It really is.
And that's why Instagram is the thief of joy, because all it is comparison.
100%. Yeah. It's like, oh man, that dude's it's because everyone's posting, they're like, I got shredded in 2024. And it's like, I'm still the same fat piece of shit I was in 2023.
I was gutted at Christmas because I remember thinking back to next Christmas, I won't be a piece of shit. And then it was and I was still. Yeah. In fact, more so.
Same. I think for 5 consecutive years, my my New Year's resolution was to get under 100 kilos. And come October, I'm like, it's not going to happen, is it? Yeah.
I'm reading this book at the moment. It's a very famous book. It's been out for called Atomic Habits.
Habits?
Yeah. I think this guy's name's James Clear or something. About getting better habits in your life.
Yeah.
And I reckon that is about all I'll do towards the habits is read a book on it.
It's a step. At least you know the steps you need to take to create them.
Now I know what I'm not doing.
See, it's like everyone that ever read The Barefoot Investor.
Yeah.
And they're like, yo, I know how I'm going to make all my money now. I want to get an orange credit card, and then I'll get this thing and that thing, set up 6 different bank accounts. You'll never do any of it.
I read Rich Dad, Poor Dad like years ago.
Yeah.
It hasn't worked.
Didn't change anything.
No, didn't change it.
Didn't change who you were as a person.
No, didn't change me. But fucking this year, carpe diem, bitches.
Have you got a New Year's resolution?
I tell you what I did. I signed up to run a marathon, and this is how I know Instagram. And I wasn't like you. I did remain on Instagram through the break.
Yeah.
But so I signed up to run the Queenstown Marathon. Oh, good. Because I thought, like if I'll have to train for that because I'm signed up, I paid for it, I'll do it. And literally got on Instagram. And about the third reel that popped up went, what's a surefire sign that you're having a midlife crisis? Signing up to do a marathon. It was within 5 minutes of me signing up, the meme that was perfect to take me down a bit.
To destroy your confidence. I thought you were going to say it's Brody Kane.
And I had to say, accurate.
But, if everyone's doing it, then,
Yeah. But you got to ask, why are you doing it?
Yes.
Because further to the same article that I wrote, I'm always down for a plug of my own shit.
Yeah.
But you got to ask yourself why you're doing something. Are you running a marathon to become a better person, fit, or are you running a marathon so you can say you've run a marathon?
Yeah. I don't mind it. I think be a bit of radical honesty with yourself. If you just want to do it so you can rub it in other people's face, then fucking do it.
I'd love it if someone climbed Mount Everest and they had their first interview and they said, why did you do it? So I could bring it up at every dinner party.
Yeah.
And so everyone would know that I can't. And so every room I walked into, people would go, that guy can't climb Mount Everest.
I'm not going to be honest with you. That's my only motivation for anything I ever do. So I can rub it in people's faces. Not that I do many
Well, some of the things aren't. Like, so when you go out for one beer and end up having 15, you don't do it so you can tell people about it.
No. I
That's
try.
one thing you don't. That's when it's been taken off you.
Yeah. But I ran 2 half marathons, and I purely did that because I was like, I want to rub this in everyone else's face. I was not equipped to run the first one, but Lane and Joe and Scotty J were running it, and they were like, we're doing one now. You've done 90% of the training. Why don't you just have a hone? And I was like, yeah, because then I can tell people I've run 2 half marathons.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I ran a half marathon with Joe Jury, and he nearly died at the end of it.
That's right. That's it.
Yeah, and he got me home. He was behind me the whole way going, come on, buddy, you can make it, Matty. You can make it. And then I made it, and then I was taking some selfies with some people and eating a banana. And Joe nearly was lying on the ground. I didn't even notice 5 meters behind me dying, getting his outfit cut off him by emergency services. And he was rushed off to hospital. I was looking for him.
Yeah.
And they're like, and then someone said, then his girlfriend rang and said, Joe's in an ambulance. He thinks he's been thrown out of a cricket game. He doesn't know where he is.
Safe assumption from Joe, to be fair.
Yeah, he was like, he thought he had to like run the tech on like an ACC thing, and he'd been thrown out. And he's like, I got to get back. It's going to go off here or something. And the ambulance is going, no, mate, you've just nearly died at the end of a half marathon.
Oh, that just shows exactly. I mean, that shows exactly where his brain is at. I wouldn't have thought of my work at all if I'd woken up in a hospital.
Yeah, you wake up in the ambulance going, I'm pretty sure I need to be at a pub. I'm pretty sure someone's having a drink. I'm missing out on somewhere.
Does Sydney Sweeney know where I am? Because last I remember we were hanging out. Can you text Sydney and let her know that I'm in the hospital?
Sweeney.
Yeah.
Got a lot of time for Sweeney.
Oh, a lot of time. Well, I proposed during the summer of cricket the Sydney Sweeney rule on the Alternative Commentary Collective and for international cricket. And it came about because of if there's a review for LBW and then they inevitably check the snicko, even when there's daylight between the ball and the bat, they still check the snicko.
Yeah.
And it's to stall while they build the ball tracking graphic.
Yeah, I worked this out as well.
Yeah, it's just to build themselves enough time that they can. And so that's why they'll often rock and roll it when there's a foot of air between the bat and the ball. And it's so annoying. And they know it never hit the bat. No one even appealed for that.
Yeah.
And I said that there should be a new rule. So, like, if all they're doing there is stalling, and we could be looking at anything, put Sydney Sweeney up on the screen. Why do we have to look at a guy wafting a bat a foot away from a cricket ball?
And Sydney Sweeney's been out on a boat with some friends, and she's posted some pictures on Instagram, so here they are.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what it should be. It's ridiculous. So so that was the Sydney Sweeney
Just
rule.
be honest. That's like your honesty thing. Just be honest. Don't pretend that you're looking at anything.
Yes.
Like, especially when it's 5 minutes and they go, it pitched
outside leg.
Yeah. And you're like, well, why didn't you tell me that first?
Yes. Yeah.
Because you're slowly constructing the ball tracking, which seems to be...
Yeah.
Which I don't know. I call into question that ball tracking. We just think it's gospel.
Yeah, I know. The radical honesty thing is something I've been working on for quite a while. And I got to be clear with people. It's not a get out of jail free card. People are still going to hate you for the things you're doing and the reasons you're doing them for. But at least if they're going to hate you, it's because of actual like what you actually wanted to do. You know what I mean? You're not getting in trouble for things that you never wanted to do in the first place anyway. I had this theory at the start of a couple of years ago, and the missus goes to me, I'm sick of you always telling me that you're just going to stay at the pub for one more beer.
Yeah.
Because you know you're not, and I know you're not. So just say, I probably won't be home till like later on.
Yeah.
Don't make me dinner or whatever. I don't know. Or if you're going to, whatever. And so I said, all right, fair enough. And so then it went, I started, look, I've had a beer. I'm probably going to have about 15 more. I'll be home later on. It should be like, sweet. I'm going out with the girls. I'm bloody doing whatever.
They don't like the uncertainty.
Yeah, they don't like the uncertainty. She's like, stop taking me around. So we're at the pub one day. I think you may have been there. Lee was there, Lane, and Tom Harper was there. And
What a crew.
What a crew. Yeah, the same crew. And Tom's missus texted and said, oh, hey, my mum said she's keen to pop round for dinner. And he went to text back and be like, okay, sweet, I'll be home soon. I was like, you won't be, though. We're 7 beers deep. You've been drinking for 6 hours, you know. And so I said, just text her and be like, look, man, I'm just going to stay at the pub. Like, I'm too horsed anyway to come see your mum. So And so he texted her that, and what we both forgot is they hadn't had the discussion around
Yeah, right.
being brutally honest.
Yeah.
So cut to 20 minutes later, she's at the door of the pub.
Get in the freaking car.
Get in the car. And so now he's steamed having dinner with his mother-in-law. Poor dude. But yeah.
What that doesn't take into account is sometimes you're lying to yourself. So sometimes I'll say, I'm only having one beer. It's like when you say to a waitress or a waiter at a bar, just one more? We're just having one more.
Yeah.
This is like, we're just one for the road. Just one more? And it's like, they don't care. But you're saying that, but you're saying it to yourself and them. So sometimes when you text the missus and say, I'm just having one more, you kind of, you believe that.
Yeah, that's true.
There's times when you believe it.
Yeah.
Because 1 leads to 2 and then 3 leads to 10.
Yeah. Nah, I agree with you. Yeah. Just in summary for the summer holidays, what was the pit and the peak of your summer holidays?
The peak was my new inflatable tent.
Oh, yeah?
Inflatable.
That's right. You went camping.
Inflatable tents are so freaking game changing. You just pump away in there. There's no like pole A goes with pole B, construct a thing.
Yeah.
You just pump, and then the tent goes, and you pull the guide ropes out, and you're good to go.
Pin it to the floor, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and so is it, I'm picturing like bouncy castle where is the bottom inflated as well and you just sleep on that? No, you still got to put a mattress in.
Yeah, you got to put a mattress in there. Yeah, and it's rock hard. Like the poles are rock hard. It's just a total game changer.
It's a dream. Yeah,
and if you get the pump that plugs into your car, I don't have that. I had to pump away.
Yeah.
But that was good for my triceps.
Yeah.
Something.
But we went camping last year and we had friends show up the day after we all set up, and so we'd all 3 couples having our relationship testing arguments, setting the camp, and then these dudes rocked up the next day and they had the car one, and then it was up.
Yeah.
And then they were like, all right, we're going to leave, and then they're out again.
Yeah, that's the other thing. It powerfully sucks it out as well.
Yeah.
So good.
And is the pack up easy enough?
Yeah, the pack up's great. And finally, tents have got shout out to Zempire, but finally tents have got the bag big enough to fit the shit back in it.
Yeah.
For the longest time, the bag was would only ever fit in there if you're in the factory and you just made it and you put it in the bag.
Well, and you put a hydraulic press on the top of it. Yeah.
Yeah. Now I feel like people are wise to the bag needs to be big enough for a useless piece of shit like me that can't really be bothered.
Yeah.
Spending a lot of time rolling and packing.
Oh, so I'm packing our bloody tent up, and of course it's like wet and muddy on the bottom.
Yeah.
And I'm rolling like a rolling pin along the top of it to get the air out. Now I'm covered in fucking snails and shit. That's a nightmare. I got to get one of these.
I invented a new game though as well, like of the tent, because I took 2 pitching wedges away.
Yeah.
And so over the tent, it's kind of like tennis. So it's kind of slow tennis.
Yeah.
Like the golf ball comes over, you can't see really where it's going because you can't see your mate on the other side.
Yeah.
And you just go chip over.
Oh.
And then it's either in or out, and then they chip back. It's goal. It has to be a tent big enough that you can't. I know. I guess you could play it if you could see.
Yeah, it's still hard.
Yeah, actually, it'd be better if you could see. Now I think about it, but the tent I just couldn't happen to see over. But it's a really fun game.
Just low paced, great drinking game.
Yeah,
great camping game.
And that sound at when you're out in nature.
Yeah,
of hitting a golf ball, where it just goes. It's so satisfying.
It is, yeah. Right up until you scull it into someone's caravan.
Oh, yeah. You skew it right into your mate's brand new Amarok.
Yeah.
And it goes,
sorry. What about the pit? I was going to say packing up your tent, but it sounds like that was the easy part.
Yeah. No, the whole thing was an absolute pleasure. Inflatable tents, it's the future. I love sleeping in a tent.
You do?
Oh, I love it.
What about when you wake up and it's 1,000,000 degrees?
Yeah. Well, this tent had these really good vents as well.
That sounds like a great tent.
It's a high level tent. But that is a bit of a problem if you've got a screaming hangover and you've managed to sleep in because it's quiet and you're in nature, and then you realise it's 45 degrees in the tent and you're so dehydrated.
Yeah, that's a killer.
Yeah.
Or there's been a kid screaming in the tent next to you the entire night. You can hear everything at those tents.
If you're a guy like me that has to get up a few times in the night, though, it's also annoying for your girlfriend when it's like. And then it's like, don't let the insects in. It's like, click, 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 and then unleash right beside her head because you forget that the tent is like sound through. So she just says, you're doing a massive dad pee right beside the tent. And you go, zzz. Actually, that's my favourite part.
Sounds like a good holiday. Hopefully everyone else out there had a good holiday as well. If you
Should we get into
manage to
sport?
Let's get into some sport.
Jesus.
Take a quick break, talk some sport. I guess we'll start with the Black Caps. It was a weird summer of cricket, although it was very Black Cappy. We were always playing against Sri Lanka and Pakistan.
Yeah, it's kind of the summer, and it was good. It was great having it on. That last ODI was pretty. I wonder if how much a dead rubber just like you're so far ahead of another team, but then it becomes a dead rubber, and just that even though that you're much better than them in your home conditions or whatever, just that 5% of not giving a fuck is the difference.
Yeah, I think that, because I always say that in the NBA, if one team's facing elimination and the other one isn't, bet on the team facing elimination. They just want it more. Yeah. It means more to them.
I was wondering about that because my beloved Rams smashed the Vikings yesterday.
Yeah.
And, the Rams...
I saw that.
The Rams town is burning down.
Yes.
And so they couldn't play there. Their training field's on fire, so they had to play the game in Arizona.
Yep.
And the Arizona organisation, two things blew me away about this. A, they sent 2 planes to pick up because the Rams travel with 400 people. So the Arizona sent 2 planes, 2 747s. And I was like, wow, they've got 2 747s.
Yeah.
The
team does.
Yeah, the team does.
Yeah.
So that organisation, Arizona the team. And they set up, so Arizona did everything. They painted the practice field so it looked exactly like the Rams one. How nice is this?
Yeah.
To make it look so when they came down there, they didn't feel out of place training, whatever. But then at the end, all the questions were, of Matthew Stafford and Cooper Kupp and such and Puka Nakua. How much was the fact that your town's on fire a motivation for you to win?
Yeah.
And I was wondering about that because aren't you always playing at 100%? And of course they answered a huge motivation because if they said not at all, then they would be burnt alive when they got home.
Yes.
Along with their houses that are already in ashes. But I always wonder about that, the percentage of give a fuck.
Yeah.
Because we talk about it a lot in sports commentary, but is it really...
I think it's a subconscious thing. I think it's as little as all of a sudden Sri Lanka were fielding in that last ODI.
Yeah.
And I think that's what it is. It's when you're chasing after a ball that could go for 4 or maybe you could cut it off, but they've run 3. Do you really give a fuck?
Yeah.
Whereas if it's like, hey, we don't want to get swept. They also had a great Sri Lankan crowd in attendance at Eden Park.
Yeah.
So that's part of it too.
Yeah.
I don't think it's something you consciously think of, but I do think it's like, if we play...
So you're saying because their motivation was heavily not to get swept.
Yeah.
And our motivation... Because it's kind of the same with that England test tour, right?
Yeah.
But reversed.
Yeah. Yes, that's exactly what it is. Yeah.
And our motivation is a bit of a break.
Yeah, who cares? As soon as this game's over, you're on holiday for a couple of weeks, then you go over to Pakistan for the thing. It's like... who really cares? It's no different because I think we often hold athletes to these high levels. We think they're robots, but they're people too. Yeah, and it's no different than us in December.
And what is it called? It's called the hedonic treadmill or whatever. So you just think because you're getting paid a shitload of money doing what you love, you're going to constantly care at a higher level than we do.
Yeah.
But every human being just ends up being the same, caring and not caring and up and down as everyone else. Because as soon as you get that $100 million, and this is going to NFL as opposed to cricket in New Zealand. But you say someone's on $50 million a year, you think they must care constantly, all the time.
No,
they go up and down because they've just put their money in the bank. They don't care. They feel like it's their thing, and then they're going through the emotional roller coaster.
The house is flasher, the car's flasher, but you are still the same piece of shit you were before you got all that money. It doesn't really change anything. I think that's what you notice. Like if you ever get just like a little pay rise at work and you think, geez, this is going to be good. And then at the end of the year, you look back and you're like, nothing changed. Where did that money go? It's just you started buying a flasher bit of bread than you usually bought or like proper steak from a butcher rather than the shitty off-chuck steak or whatever.
The entire world is engineered to take that money off you. Everywhere you go, there's people. I mean, that's what businesses are. Their job is to whatever money you scratch out in your life, there's someone there ready to trick you out of it. Over the break, I listened to a podcast, The American Scandal and the Unabomber. You know Unabomber? Yeah. Unabomber. I only realised that he was the Unabomber because it was universities and airlines he was attacking.
Got to get the airlines in there.
I thought it was the Unabomber because he attacked universities.
Oh, I thought it was because it was just him that did it by himself.
Right. But anyway, I read his manifesto after I'd listened to this amazing podcast on him because he bombed all these people just so they'd print his manifesto in the Washington Post.
That's right. Yeah.
It's a pretty interesting manifesto, but that was his thesis that no matter what happens, they're going to take everything off you, so you might as well go back to nature and live in a cabin.
Okay,
and so that's why he was blowing up scientists because he wanted to stop progress.
Yeah. No, I get that, but just go and live in the forest.
Yeah, that's the bit I didn't know. You do you, mate.
Yeah.
You were living in the forest. You decided to do it.
Yeah.
You do it.
That's okay.
You were living in the forest and coming out of the forest to
blow
yuck
up
on a yuck on a yum.
Yeah. Yeah. Stay up there.
Stay up there, mate.
You did it. It's fine. You don't have to come and do all this shit. It's okay.
Yeah.
But we don't all have to. Yeah.
But anyway,
Unabomber.
No, I can't support us blowing people up.
But he makes a couple of points.
Yeah.
Well, the only thing about the Black Caps Summer of Cricket, which I enjoyed, I commentated all the games. I really enjoyed getting to know some of the newer players that were in our team, and actually getting to watch Sri Lanka, who are quite an exotic cricket team, not because of where they're from, but because of the I likened their bowling attack to like it was written by Dr. Zeus. They've got this dude who bowls like this, and then this guy's coming in and doing this. They got a parade of Malinga lookalikes that bowl sidearm.
Yeah, isn't that funny? Because they talk about these eras in New Zealand cricket where we have a lot of fast bowlers because everyone loved Shane Bond at one point, and he had that particular action, and Richard Hadley before him.
Yeah,
but Malinga. Yeah, there was just kids piling in to bowl up in the backyard or wherever they bowl in Sri Lanka, around on the street, whatever. Yeah, and Malingering it.
Yeah, and
now they're all over the shop.
The irony is, Sri Lanka brought 3 of those dudes over with them, and one of his genuine nephews, Ishan Malinga, doesn't bowl like that. He's got a straight arm. He's the only one out of their pace attack that doesn't do it.
That's fucking confusing.
Yeah, it is very confusing. But I noticed something in that last game that I thought was very, very cricket, particularly here in New Zealand. And it was the crowd was dismal, and it was to start with. Later on, it filled out. But it was a beautiful day on whatever day that was, Saturday, I think. In Auckland, the sun was shining. It was a scorcher. The cicadas were chirping. It was a still breeze. It picked up later on in the day. And the irony of New Zealand cricket is that's also the best weather to not be sitting at the cricket. And so the crowd's cannibalised by this beautiful day. It's like these are the best possible conditions for cricket, but I'd hate to waste it not being at the beach.
I got sent a picture of the road management near Eden Park at that point.
Yes.
I'll share it with you, which will be not very interesting for the.
Well, you live just around the corner, don't you? You live almost in the exclusion zone when they set up the.
Yeah, but so you got this is. It's a ghost town with the insane amount of crowd. There's road cones everywhere. They've got an emergency set up for 1,000 people to turn up.
Yeah.
And there's absolutely no one on Sandringham Road.
It's a ghost
So
town.
there's all the big flashing signs saying no drink area, event in progress. There's 400,000 road cones. There's people lining the streets with their sort of stockyards to stop people crossing the road. There's security everywhere. And it is, there was more people in Salem's Lot after the vampires attacked than there were walking down that street.
Yeah. It's
kind of a you build. They might have had a you build it, they will come kind of idea. If we put an insane traffic management, then maybe some people turn up to the ground.
The traffic will show up because otherwise, what are we going to manage? Yeah, but it's just one of the funny things about cricket in New Zealand. We bitch and moan because the game before that was rain delayed.
Yeah,
and it was boring, and we're like, oh god, classic. Why can't we just get a nice day? Then we get a nice day, everyone fucks off to the beach.
Hey, I've got this thing because I'm thinking about getting more people into the ground, right?
Yeah.
And I sent this to Dylan Cleaver. And he got irate and sent me a huge email back about it. And my thing is, one of the main reasons people go to baseball, to the ground, and why it's big crowds, is because you can keep the ball if you catch it. It may be worth something, but anyway, it's a souvenir, right?
Yes.
In T20, who gives a shit if it's a new ball or an old ball?
Yeah.
Because it's only 20 overs. And anyway, maybe T20 is just a game where you're always getting a new ball, or maybe the strategy comes in that you try and get a new ball, or you don't get a new ball, whatever. You should be able to keep the frickin' ball if you catch it in the crowd. Or the balls that go into the crowd should be kept by the crowd. And Dylan Cleaver gave me 1,000 reasons why that shouldn't happen.
Yeah, but
the Kookaburra being too expensive. 100 reasons.
too expensive.
So anyway, I emailed old Higgins from
Juco.
yeah, about it. And I said, you should do that for the Black Clash. Because I just wanted to make a point against Dylan Cleaver, because if I could make it happen somewhere.
Yeah.
Because he said it's impossible. And I thought, well, Black Clash
It's not impossible.
So then he was like, oh, yeah, and he forwarded me onto someone else. And then they came up with a bunch of reasons why it might be difficult. But wouldn't that be great? Like, just if you, I mean, it doesn't work in ODI. But in just T20, let people keep the fucking ball. Even if the balls are $120 each or whatever. I don't know what a Kookaburra is.
Neither do I. But I know they come in those big boxes of like 12 of the bastards. So.
Yeah.
So I know you've got enough.
Yeah.
That is a great point. I know that in a test match, the wear and the condition of the ball.
Yeah, so
is
not in a
thing.
test match. That's a huge part of it in a test match, right?
Yeah.
You know, although you could argue if you wanted a new ball, you don't want a new ball, so you don't hit a 6. Anyway, it doesn't matter. But no, a test match, obviously, it's a huge part of it, and even ODIs, it's a part of it.
It is, but I only just found out in the last ODI that they bowl with a different ball from each end. Did you know that?
I did not know that.
No, this blew my mind as well. So in an ODI, they have a ball per end.
The fuck?
I can't remember why exactly it was. It's been around since 2011. We did a deep dive on it. It sounds bullshit, doesn't it?
Yeah.
But we looked it up, and yeah, they keep.
Do they do that on a T20?
I don't know.
Because if they do, then my keep the ball thing is crucial.
Yeah, well, it's back in play.
Yeah, and also it's like you hit a 6, and immediately the ball boy's throwing or girls throwing you a new ball, or the umpire's getting the new ball out, and you just go. It's like in baseball, like the umpire's just got a big bag of balls, and he just hefts them out as soon as it's hit.
What it was, I've just remembered. What it is the balls that they use. There's something about the white dye that makes the ball deteriorate quicker, and so to avoid having to bring a new ball in halfway through a one-dayer, they decided we'll just play with 2 balls.
Right.
Then they'll wear out slower.
Right.
And so you never have to bring a new ball in.
On that, then I say keep the ODIs, also keep the ball. Because you're only doing 25 overs with the ball anyway.
Yeah.
So that sounds like, just keep the ball. And it's always a new ball, comes off the bat nicely.
Yeah. Well, I've been saying for quite a while now, particularly in a T20, a batsman's allowed to walk out with whatever bat he wants.
Yeah.
A bowler should be able to bring his own ball. So, and obviously the umpire would check them over.
Well, Tom Brady tried to do that by deflating a bunch of balls.
Yeah, but like if you're a spinner,
yeah, you go and bring a dusty old banged up old ball out.
Yeah.
Shit, yeah.
I think that's a good idea.
So you go you go to the box and you go, there's a selection of shit, yeah.
Yeah, like surely, I don't know, like darts players, they've got a wee tackle box where they've got different weighted darts and they reassemble them, blah, blah, blah. If you're a bowler, you should be able to, I've got my little Patonk case of cricket balls. But, I'm going to bowl this. You go and show the batsman. He's allowed to look at it before you bowl it to him.
Well, in baseball, and I know I'm a baseball punisher, but like if the ball gets thrown to them, they'll feel it and they'll go, oh, that's not quite right, and they'll throw it out. And then the umpire will throw me another one, and they'll go, yeah, that's right, and they'll throw that.
Like tennis.
Yeah.
Tennis is the same.
Yeah.
I think it's Look, I like the idea.
And the other thing I thought with cricket, this is my other theory, is we've got to find a way to think about the game in terms of the crowd.
Yeah.
So you need to have, it's like in Formula One, you have different tyres for a situation. Mm-hmm. If it's going to be, I say you play even if it's wet.
Oh, we've discussed this on commentary before.
Yeah. Three steps. One step. I don't know, what do you bowl in? And so like if it's a situation where it looks like it might rain, you have to put 2 bowlers that can bowl off 2 steps or 3 steps into your team, like the same reason why you'd pick wet weather tyres.
Yeah, that's exactly what I said.
So the whole focus should be to play, not the whole focus of cricket is to not play.
It is. Drinks breaks, injury breaks, change your helmet. All that kind of shit. It's like, no.
Drinks breaks and T20s can fuck off when most people are like, like just have a fucking drink behind the stumps. Everyone else can have a drink at any point.
Everyone's drinking between overs. It's a crock of shit. But you're right. I was like, I think you and I have talked about this before.
Probably.
It's just like put longer sprigs on. Yeah. And just everyone agree on whatever the safe thing. Now, the problem with we all agree, okay, 3 paces is the longest legal run. Well, Bumrah bowls off 3 paces. So,
well, then you'll just get Bumrah type bowlers that are wet weather bowlers. So you've got to have that guy on your team because you need a wet weather bowler. It's it just should be everything you can to play, because I feel for TVNZ, they've got their problems, but they're trying to support cricket by putting it on prime time, and there's always a reason why it can't be fucking played.
Yeah.
And then you've got bloody bunch of people having to, and the damage it does to the ACC when you're fucking sitting here waiting around for fucking play for 20 days.
Yeah. Well, whenever we come back on, it's like, oh, welcome back in. Looks like we're going to get a day's play. It's like, who knows who's still listening at that point, because you've turned it off and you've gone to do something.
And the umpires are like, we're going to have a meeting out there at 3:30 to have a look at it. You fuckers stay out there the whole time.
Yeah.
Don't go in again. Stand there until you find a way to play.
Yeah. And it's going to churn up the field and the pitch. They'll be in tatters. So what? So is the rugby ground.
Yeah. So what? Probably not going to play it on the next day anyway.
Yeah.
And I don't know, put down some bowling mats or something to protect the feet. But whatever, you find a way to fucking play, not a way to not play.
No.
All right.
I completely agree with you. Where are we in the NFL? Because once the fantasy playoffs finished and I got knocked out of our fantasy league, I stopped paying attention.
I've had a weird season because I've been following my fantasy team so much. I haven't been following my individual team of the Rams that much. But yesterday they won the wild card.
Okay.
So then we go to the division series.
So what? So there's 6 teams. So there's 2 conferences, right?
Yeah.
And how many teams make each conference playoffs?
So you have 3 in a wild card.
Okay. Yeah.
And so it's 4.
Yeah.
But then top seed gets a bye.
Okay.
And so the Rams, because I know their path, they've just beaten Vikings wild card. So then they go into the division series game. Yeah. And then there's the division championship game, and then there's the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
So yeah, and the Super Bowl obviously is the team from each what do you call it?
Conference, yeah.
Yeah, like the National League versus the American League, whatever.
And do we know who's favourites to make the...
Well, I think, there's a lot of talk around the Lions.
Yep.
I'm a big fan of them. I like me some Mayor Phil Goff as QB.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of talk. The Eagles, once again, are in the mix.
Yes.
And, of course, Patrick Mahomes is in the conversation. The Chiefs, a lot of people would love to not see them to win again. And look, I reckon the Rams, after that performance about the Vikings, they're in the mix.
I'm hearing a lot of buzz around the Rams.
Yeah.
Everyone's going, oh, the Rams.
9 sacks. Their defence is on fire. And their town's on fire. So,
did you watch any tennis across the?
I went to the ASB. I went to the final.
Oh, nice.
When Osaka quit.
Oh,
that was frustrating. So tennis players, I believe, are selfish individuals, because she quit, and it was telling. The Great Dane, in her speech, she said, "I think we all wish Osaka good luck for Melbourne." And so she pulled out because she had a slight... I mean, she actually sounds like her husband broke up with her the day before, so I'm not saying whether that's involved or not, but she had
that did happen?
Yeah. It did happen according to gossip. And so you don't hear, you're in the ground. And for a start, it's such a fantastic time down there. And it's just amazing being that close to how fast they serve and stuff. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
It's great. But she pulls out, and normally when someone pulls out with an injury, you see them limping around, or they're holding their arm, or there's something. She was just absolutely kicking ass, and then nothing happened, and then they started bringing out the backdrop to give the award, and then it was just all over, and then no one really told us what her problem was, and then later I read it might have been a stomach thing,
heartache.
Yeah, but yeah, just a bit up to the left of the stomach, and and I just thought about that. Everyone's put on this tournament, and this might be a controversial take, and I've probably got Dunning-Kruger effect where I don't know anything about tennis, but it just feels like everyone's gone through, they've competed against you all the way through, they've put on this tournament in New Zealand, it's so important to us, you've come to it.
Yeah.
But at the last minute, in the last game, that you've made it to the final, you decide that Melbourne's more important here, and you're not willing to risk your stomach for New Zealand. It's just...
Pull out before the game and let someone else go in and play.
Yeah. Or just battle on and tough luck for Melbourne, because you're currently in this tournament.
I know.
There's this level of selfishness that, and I know, and I was espousing this, but then someone said you weren't annoyed when the Rams rested Cooper Kupp, Tuka Kanua, and Matthew Stafford for a game, like their game at the end of the season against the Seahawks, because they were preparing for the wild card. Yeah. And I said, well, yeah, maybe that's the same thing.
Yeah, this is something that's always plagued the the ASB Classic. Is it the New Zealand Open? Anyway, the ASB Classic. It's always plagued.
It's always referred to as the tennis.
The tennis. It's always plagued the tennis.
Yeah.
And it's that the Melbourne. It basically is a warm up for the Melbourne. Open, Australian Open, and
we're just grateful that someone of her level's here at all.
Yeah.
So in a way, it becomes a showcase, and I get that. And I think most of my thing was I was just hugely supporting her, and then I was like, yes. Yeah. And then I was just really disappointed that the game just fizzled out.
Yeah, I know what you mean, because Plus
I had about 20 Aperos, so I was like, good to go.
Me and the missus bought tickets. We had nothing on in the afternoon, so we were like, let's go and check out the tennis. We'd never been before. Emma Raducanu was supposed to play that night. She pulled out. We already knew that when we bought our tickets, but it just meant that no one else showed up. Anyone that had tickets, they'd pulled out.
Yeah, right.
And so it was a little bit, but like you say, it's good. It's the closest you'll ever sit to a professional athlete.
So close.
Yeah, it's really good, and
it's I know it's ridiculous to say, but it's so impressive. Those people,
yes,
of course they are because they're the best, but it's so different than tennis that you see when you're playing with your mates.
Nah, when you see one of the girls was just throwing thunderbolts down there, and then she hit this serve that was would have been 40% of the speed of her last serve, and it just curled basically at a right angle, and you're like, oh, this is fuck all you can do about that.
Yeah.
It is. It's good to watch. The only issue I've got with it is the guy comes out, the lotto guy comes out, and he's standing on the centre court. All right, it was actually New Year's Eve when we were there. New Year's Eve, it's a party, we're all going to have a party. When the game starts, no one's allowed to talk, and you can't get up from your seat. And if you want to leave, it has to happen at the end of a set if you're sitting here, and at the end of a game if you're sitting here. And it's like, oh, okay.
Oh, I love the silence, and then a car with some, decent muffler will come past, and it's like complete silence, and
it's also off the main highway to the port, so a truck will come down this hill, and then they'll be like, quiet please, in the upper stand. You're like, what the fuck?
Fucking tell that fucking truck driver who's using engine braking when he's not allowed to.
Yeah.
But no, the I haven't been to the tennis for a while with the men's tennis, but isn't it interesting that the women's tennis seems to be the glamour event?
Yeah, it does. It's
that's
tennis.
Interesting. Go girls.
Tennis
can do anything.
Tennis and MMA, probably individual sports, are the two biggest. I would say, in terms of, there's obviously this massive push for equality across genders in sport. MMA and tennis are the two where dudes will sit down at a pub and have a full blown argument about two women athletes, two men athletes, the exact same way, and it's not even a thing. They've achieved equality, those sports.
Yeah.
It is. It's good to see. And I watch those. I've already forgotten her name, but now I'm a fan of, can't be too good a fan, I've forgotten the fucking name, but when you watch a player in person, you're like, oh, I'm going to follow this person's career.
Yeah, 100%. Unless they pull out with a slight stomach niggle because they think Australia is more important than New Zealand.
I do wonder if it was that was the contract for her. It was like, look, we get it. You just want to warm up. It's fine. If you want to pull out, you can. You have to at least start the match, or we're not going to pay you your fee.
Yeah, who knows what they have to do to get someone to come to New Zealand over New Year's.
It's like, to put you behind the curtain, if you ever watch one of those reality TV shows where they get celebrities living on a beach or whatever, and there'll be someone on there and you'll be like, how the hell did they get that person to agree to that show? And they get voted off in the first week. Might be a bit of suckering going on there.
Yeah. I've been involved in that kind of shenanigans.
You've been involved in no suckering?
Hey, speaking of getting voted off and all that kind of stuff, I guess the elephant in the room is, have you talked on the agenda since you took over my job as the
No,
on the Hauraki Breakfast?
Let's take a break and come back and address it.
Yeah.
I just got to read a line before we address it though. Are you needing a summer top-up? Leader has got you covered with the top-up. All summer long, Leader is giving you the chance to win $5,000. I've got to be honest with you, I could do with $5,000 after the last month or so I've just had, and I know you listening could as well. So go and buy yourself a tray of toppers because you got no food in your fridge anyway. Scan the QR code and you could be in to win $5,000. You can even smash a Leader bacon and cheese topper while you enter your details. Text SCAN to 3236 for all of the details.
Delicious.
Yes, no, we haven't discussed it. And actually, I think you and I were on the last podcast that I was on. And then basically that afternoon, the announcement came out that I was going to be joining Jeremy on the Hauraki Breakfast.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
It's a great gig.
This year.
Yeah.
which will start on Monday.
Yeah, cool.
The 20th. I'll still be on this podcast and the Mad Monday podcast.
Yep.
In a somewhat diminished capacity, but I'll still be around.
Yeah.
I mean, fuck, the ACC's in the same building as...
Yeah, I'll still be pesting around the Agenda podcast as well.
Yeah. What do I need to know?
About working with Jerry?
Yeah.
Well, the term, how would you put this?
Bear in mind,
he'll say things need to be sustainable. What he means is, I don't want to do any work. Like if you have an idea of something that's going to take any work at all, he'll say, I think we need to keep it sustainable.
Okay.
And what sustainable means is
he don't want to do it.
He doesn't really do anything.
Okay. Make it sustainable. Well, that's good. It's 2025. We need to be sustainable.
Yeah, sustainable. Yeah, he's not trying to save the environment with that. He's just trying to save himself from doing any work. If you say, oh, we've got an interview with Barack Obama at 11 a.m. and he goes, I normally have a swim around there. Probably can't do that. What else do you need to know?
What about the audience? What do I need to know about the audience of the Hauraki Breakfast show?
The best audience in the world. They'll treat you well. But they will also abuse you constantly.
I'm no stranger to that.
Yeah. So the abuse is love.
Yeah.
Like their love language is you're a fucking wounder.
Yes, I know.
That's their love language.
We can't express affection as males in this country.
So if you get a really long text saying, like, really cutting into you and taking every part of you down and right to an existential level,
yeah,
then you look into that thread and you'll see that the guy is a big fan.
Yeah. The last text he sent was, I love you guys.
Yeah.
What about dealing with the early morning start? What time do I need to be in the office? What time do I need to be getting up?
Well, there's two times of getting into the office. There's the one that you tell management that you get into the office, and there's the actual time. The time you get into the office is around the time the theme, the opening theme little thingy starts. You don't need to be before that. What are you going to do before that?
Yeah.
Prep. You're not prepping at that time of day.
You'd want to... Yeah.
You prep at the 6 to 7 hour. That's when you do your prep.
Yeah. So between 6 and 7, you're prepping.
Yeah. Because me and Jerry had the problem there. Our best hour was always our 6 to 7 hour.
Yeah, right.
Because we didn't have anything prepared and we were just talking about things. And then so it was nice and loose.
Yeah.
And then we'd always be on downhill from 7.
You're just trying to chase that magic.
Yeah, try to chase the dragon.
Yeah.
I just think that getting in early and I don't know. I think the best prep you can do is another half hour sleep.
That's right. You want to be tip top.
Yeah.
When you get there.
Yeah. It's great. Being on a breakfast show is great for you drinking.
Because you can't.
Yeah, because you can't.
Yeah.
Well, you can, but you have to get through the show drunk.
Yeah.
You can't do it hungover.
Nah, and you'll only do that once or twice, and then you're like, I can't.
Like if you go to bed at 3 and you get up for work and you'll have the best show ever, and then because you're hungover,
yeah,
but you're actually still drunk, then that's a really good show. But then afterwards, the shame comes in hard. And
then also, yeah,
there's nothing worse than not being able to remember a 3-hour broadcast.
I've had a couple of commentaries like that.
Yeah.
And for anyone listening, it's like, the feeling of hearing your own voice back. That does go away a little bit, not a lot, but it does go away a little bit. But when you hear yourself back and you were drunk and you don't remember it,
and that voice, there's a kind of voice that I have when I'm drunk. This half hour, so I kind of like this kind of way. You think you know everything, but also the other thing is, it's like if you wake up and you remember saying a few stupid things around a table to your mates at a pub.
Yeah.
When you know that's to thousands and thousands of people and it's recorded, and probably right now someone's cutting it into promos to be put out on social media.
Yeah.
You sober up and you send the text to someone like the social media person and say, hey, can we keep I don't think any of that needs to be in the sort of promo for the show.
I had my penance last year because I had been at the pub all afternoon and then came in to commentate a Warriors game, and I had to clip the highlights out on the Monday, so that was my penance, as I had to listen to it. Thankfully, out of all the dumb shit I did on that thing, Keezy cursed the kicker, so that was the highlight out of the whole thing.
Was that because that was a famous moment?
It was a famous moment. Meanwhile, I am blind drunk and muttering in the corner of the studio, and I was like, "Jeez, did I dodge a bullet there?" Because that should have been me. Okay,
I reckon the only thing worse than being on air drunk is being on air sober with a drunk.
Oh yeah.
Because the anarchy of that situation. There's been a few ACC commentaries where I've come down where the other person you're doing is drunk,
Yeah.
and it feels like the world's ending. It feels like someone's just starting fires.
Yeah.
And there's
It's like working with a toddler.
yeah.
No. Okay, so tell the bosses you're coming in at 5. Show up.
Always make that kind of thing. It's like just bring it up that so have the coffee at 5, and because they're never there.
No.
So you can create an entire illusion that you're in there, and people go, "Oh, Manaia's always in about 5."
Yeah.
And Jerry will never know.
No.
As long as you're there by 6, like by 5:50.
Yeah.
5:55. Jerry will never know how long you've been there.
No.
No.
Okay, so
And also he's unlikely to rat you out.
yeah. Yeah. So sustainability is key.
I believe that I'm throwing that at Jerry, but I think that is the thing. It's a campaign. It's not a individual show thing. It's a campaign. So you have to just be able to keep going. The idea that management always say you need to be doing a 10 every day. No, you need to do a lot of 6s, but no 1s.
Yeah.
Because the worst thing is a 10 out of 10 show followed by 4 1s because you've blown your load by doing some kind of
wacky stunt.
Wacky stunt or over. It's like you want to be going for 6.5s every day.
Yeah. All right. Keep the run rate at 6.
Yeah.
You can go 5, you can go 7, but keep it at 6.
Yeah. You got to think about the long game because it is a lot getting up every fucking morning and coming and speaking for 3 hours.
Yeah, I know. Because people always say to me, "Oh, I would have liked to get into radio or podcasting or whatever. I think I'd be good at it." And I'm like, I think you would. But now it's Tuesday, now it's Wednesday, now it's Thursday, and there's been no sport for 2 weeks, or you're a little bit dusty, and it's like, now what are you going to do? And people would argue
or
that
you're just in your natural ebbs and flows of life, and you don't feel like talking to someone. You feel like remaining at home.
Yeah.
Or you feel like just having a quiet day in the office where you're just going to shuffle around and get some things done at your desk or in your own little area and collect your check.
Yeah.
But no, you've got to be fucking on here.
Yeah, and
people have got the tiniest violins out there listening to this.
Well, whenever I say that to people, they're like, "Yeah, but you run out of shit to talk about 10 minutes into any broadcast you do, so it's not like you've figured out the key to it." Okay, so the keys are run a dual system, get in at this time, tell them you're getting in at this time, watch out for the sustainability, and texts of abuse are actually texts of support.
Yeah. And you'll know this, but the content meetings, everything's a great idea.
Yeah.
There's no need to get into a big discussion and fight your corner.
Yeah.
Just everything's great.
Nod.
Everything's great.
Smile.
Everyone's amazing. Just agree.
Great. let it through to the keeper.
And then turn up at 1 minute before the show and put in a solid 6.5.
Brilliant. Thank you for the advice. I'm going to need it. I'll be back again tomorrow with Lane, who's back from holiday. And
are you doing a full week this week? Oh, what day is it?
It's Wednesday. Oh. Yeah. I'm not going to say I'm doing a full week. And then we'll do one from Friday for the Black Clash. You're coming down for the Black Clash?
Yep, that's right. I think it's you, me, and Jason Hoyt on the comms.
I think so. I'm marking that as the start of my working year.
Yeah. This is some stretching in a limber. Which is probably obvious to people that have been listening.
Yeah, I think so. All right, thanks very much for joining us, and I will see you tomorrow for another episode of the Agenda Podcast.
Give them a taste of kiwi.
You've been listening to the ACC's Agenda Podcast, brought to you by Export Ultra. For more episodes, like and follow on iHeartradio or wherever you get your podcasts.